let's move on to the Eastern Conference Finals now. This is an interesting matchup.
I think so too.
Because you have this Tampa Bay team that gets through the Leafs in a very hard-fought series in 7 games, coming back to win game 6 and 7 after they were down 3-2. And Braden Point, of course, goes down in game 7 against the Leafs, misses the entire second round series against the Florida Panthers, who I've been saying since day one, I didn't believe in. And they finally got punched in the mouth and faced a little adversity, and they got their asses swept in 4 games and scored 3 goals. So they do that without Braden Point, but it's like, can they continue doing this? Because now they're going up against this Rangers team. And again, you could say the Rangers weren't as good of a team as Carolina, like just in terms of puck possession and defensive play and all that. But the reason I picked the Rangers to win that second round series, I just like their star power more. Like you look at Panarin, Zibanejad, Adam Fox, Igor Shesterkin, like they got some dudes. Chris Kreider, 50 goals this year.
You mean compared to Carolina?
Compared to Carolina.
Yeah.
That's why I picked the Rangers. I actually went back and I watched our podcast because I didn't totally remember what I said, but I had the Rangers in 7 in the second round.
Well, a humble brag. Just so
humble brag. I had the Rangers.
I accidentally on purpose listened to our podcast just to confirm that I was 100% right.
Carolina, there was just something about them. They almost reminded me of like the New York Islanders in a way, where it's like they had some good players, really good all-around team, but like they're lacking that that extra punch.
Maybe it's a starting goalie.
Yeah. That's fair. No Freddie
Someone
Anderson.
pointed it out last night. The Rangers have played 14 playoff games and faced a starting goalie in 1 game.
Yeah.
Make of that what you want.
Those are the facts. They faced I guess they just in the Pittsburgh series, right? Because Anderson hasn't played at all. They played Ranta the entire second round. And then the other that third string goalie they have, what's his name? Peter Choikov or to pronounce his
poor
last
guy. Is it just me, and like you can say this about every playoff, so people know where I'm going with this? It seems like at least the story in a lot of these series, if not all the series, has been goaltending. Like even going back to the first round, like Ottinger just playing absolutely crazy, and then moving forward, it was like, okay, Carolina's on their third string, even before Pittsburgh was on their third string. And then you have like Shesterkin, Vasilevsky. There's question marks with Smith in this round. What's going to happen? We just finished talking about Kemper. It feels like all the talking points are just about goaltending. And maybe people would say that's the case every year, but I just find like now, like kind of it's all we're talking about, right? And McDavid scoring 1,000 points.
It has been an interesting year for goaltending. And, people are ripping on the Rangers, say they haven't faced a goalie like Louis Domingue in the first round and then Antti Ranta. Like Ranta's actually had a good playoffs.
He played well before game 6. He was a mess.
Yeah.
Like, game 6, he was
at the end of that series. He fell apart. Then obviously he gets injured in game 7. But just looking at his overall numbers, he was solid, man. Like he did more than enough to propel that team to the conference finals. They just obviously couldn't win game 6 and 7. And I think that Carolina team was just lacking. They're lacking like a true star, because as good as I think like Sebastian Aho is, and even like their rookie Seth Jarvis, you got Teuvo Teravainen.
I fucking love Teravainen. I have a player crush on Teravainen.
Like they got good players, but they need like a star player. Like if you insert like a legit top 10 player into that lineup offensively, like that team is looking so much scarier than they are. But
it's kind of funny, eh? Like the cap and all this stuff. At the end of the day, I mean, you look to the champs, the teams that make it deep, the best teams have the best players.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at the teams at the top of the standings. Well, they're the teams that have Kucherov and Crosby, and here we are, McDavid. Well, they got the best, and they the goalies, Vasilevsky, Shesterkin. They're both in the conference final. I mean, pay big money for big players. Shouldn't that work?
It's supposed to work, Lepore. I heard it's supposed to work, but apparently when you wear blue and white and have a maple leaf on your chest, it just there's just a curse.
No hope
going on. So
no hope.
That's what I've come to realize. But yeah, man, no, this is an interesting series because a lot of people forget that Tampa does not have home ice in this series.
Correct.
So this is another situation, even going back to the Colorado Oilers series, everyone just thinks Tampa is going to just crush the Rangers. They just crushed Florida in 4 games, back-to-back champs, no problem. But they don't have home ice. We don't know if Braden Point's going to be back. I was reading the latest updates. Like John Cooper's hoping at some point he'll be back in this 3rd round series, but honestly, no one knows. Like this is a serious injury he's dealing with. And again, we don't know exactly what the injury is because this is the Stanley Cup playoffs for you. They never disclose anything.
Yeah.
But man, without Braden Point, no home ice advantage. And again, they didn't have a home ice advantage against Florida either. But this is not a slam dunk, man, for the back-to-back champs.
I don't think so either. Prediction time?
I'm ready to give my prediction for this series.
Okay, you go first this time.
All right. So I really like this Rangers team.
Okay.
I picked them to beat Pittsburgh in the 1st round. I picked them to beat Carolina in the 2nd round. I love their top end talent. I love that they played the way that they played post trade deadline. I think Shesterkin's a star. Zibanejad's had a big playoffs. Kreider scores big goals. But saying all that, Lepore, man, it's just very, very difficult for me to bet against this Tampa Bay Lightning team.
Yeah.
Like after what I saw that they did to the Florida Panthers without Braden Point as the road team to sweep them. Like I'm thinking back now to 2020. They win the Stanley Cup without Steven Stamkos, who played 5 shifts. And now they sweep Florida without Braden Point. They got through the Leafs without Braden Point as well. I have Tampa Bay winning this series. And I'm going to say that they do it on home ice in game 6.
Okay. Honestly, if I'm going back and forth on this series, and it's like the brain versus gut thing, whereas my brain is like, I'm not betting against John Cooper. I'm not betting against Vasilevsky. I'm not betting against Victor Hedman. I don't care about home ice for the Rangers. Like Tampa doesn't care. If there's one team that doesn't, and they're well rested. But then there's the part of me that thinks hockey's a weird sport, and Tampa, Colorado final is almost too predictable. So there's a part of me that
wouldn't it?
What's that?
That would be sweet, wouldn't
Colorado,
it? Avalanche, Tampa Cup final.
Oh, well, again, those are the 2 teams, but I'm going to say, I think this is a real tough one. I think this is a real tough one. I'm going to say Rangers in 7.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're on my Rangers now. I'm off my Rangers, and Lepore is on the Rangers for this.
And I just finished saying that's not what I think's going to happen, but quite often I bet against what I think's going to happen, if that makes sense, because hockey's so wacky. So if I have to give a prediction, I'll say Rangers in 7, Madison Square Garden going absolutely bonkers. Shesterkin having the series of his life. Maybe he takes the belt from Vasilevsky. Ooh, now I'm getting ahead of myself. Then next week we'll record in Tampa's won 4 straight Vasilevsky 4 shutouts because he's listening, right? But yeah, let's have some fun. Colorado versus the Rangers in the Stanley Cup final.
I like it, man. Honestly, the way the Rangers are playing, and like I said, I look at the talent across that roster and Shesterkin and net. They got way more than a puncher's chance to win this series. Like I think they have a better chance to win this series than Edmonton does of beating Colorado.
I think so too. I think most people would agree with that. I mean, I think the betting odds say that too, but yeah, I think most people would agree with that. Because again, like right off the bat, Shesterkin, you have a chance. Yeah. I mean, people can say McDavid, you have a chance, but I mean, people would know what I'm referring to. And I'm talking about the goalie. So yeah. And the home ice advantage thing you mentioned, Point. I mean, I think he's done. That's a groin or a hip. Like that's a soft tissue injury. So I think,
like even if he does return, I can't imagine he's going to be 100%.
Yeah. His reaction on the bench when he got hurt, he knew.
Yeah.
Like guys know when they seriously hurt themselves, especially at the pro athlete level, because they've probably done it before, like knowing that difference between being hurt and being injured. And he knew he was injured.
Yeah. Like, that's a great point. I think he knew in the moment as well, like, this is a long-term injury. This isn't a situation where I'm going to be back in a few days.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I mean, I also like the point you made about Madison Square Garden, because that place gets so loud, and I think it's
I
going
gotta
to
go
be a
to
real
game day.
advantage for the Rangers. So yeah, Lepore, man, I picked Tampa, but honestly, I would not be surprised one bit if my New York Rangers get through and advance to the Stanley Cup final.
You ever been to a game at MSG?
I haven't.
I have not either. It's on the list, man.
I haven't. So I know I'm speaking as if I've been to like 7 playoff games at MSG, but just watching those games on TV and just the energy in that building, man, even like throughout the season, my goodness, it gets loud in there.
Yeah,
So
best goal song in the league.
It's up there.
It's up there.
It's
Leafs
right
need a
up
new
there,
one.
man.
Leafs need a new one, by the
Oh,
way.
the Leafs goal song is an abomination.
Is it an abomination? I think it worked for a short time.
It
was
did. It
okay.
worked for a short time, but they got to switch it up. It's almost like how everyone's like, trade someone, make a move, switch up the core here. It's like, switch your damn goal song. What the hell, man? How do they still have the same goal song?
Like they need, I mean, I love Hall & Oates, but little nerd admission there, but they need something intimidating. Like they need something like it's like hip hop or heavy or rock or deep, like the Rangers. Oh, like after every goal, the crowd can get into it. We're not jumping up and down, dancing to Hall & Oates, guys. Like, come on.
It's honestly, it's become like kind of soft in a way.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like we need a better song here. Again, I think it's a good song too, but it's overkill now, man.
Yeah, they had Zombie Nation for a while, and Boston use it. Does Boston still use it?
I think they do.
Yeah, I think they do too. We need a new one.
Yeah,
memo to Brendan Shanahan. I'm sure you have a lot on your mind, but this is of the utmost importance right now.
Yeah, never mind trading William Nylander or one of the other members of the core four, or
figuring out the
goalie
salary
situation.
Change
the damn goal song, please.
Yeah, please.
Signed Leafs Nation.
Mm-hmm.